A new product line imported from Budapest, Hungary is Wolf's Chemicals. Each product is professionally proven and scientifically engineered. One of the first products I got to use from Wolf's Chemicals is their Deionizer Decon Gel. This is a spray-on formula that attacks iron fallout at the surface. So it actually works to break down and, for lack of a better terms, dissolve iron. It kind of turns purple and runs off the surface. This makes it ideal when you're removing things like rail dust or other fallout on your paint, or if you're working on heavily soiled wheels, particularly if they have a lot of caked on brake dust. Traditionally, the only way to clean your wheel would have been to use an acid. But in this case, you can use this, which is a pH neutral formula, and it's going to attack the iron fallout in the brake dust. Brake dust is mostly iron fallout from the brake rotor. So you can see how dirty these wheels are. And you simply spray this on and allow it to dwell. You'll see it turn purple as it attacks the brake dust. In addition to the Wolf's Chemicals Deionizer Gel, I'm also using a bucket that's just filled with water, and that's so I can flush as I lightly agitate the surface. I've got a Daytona Speedmaster wheel brush and also the soft Boar's Hair, the Feathered Edge Montana brush. And that's going to let me just lightly agitate the surface and remove any fallout. So to start the application, simply spray the Deionizer Gel over the wheel surface. I like to start at the bottom and work up. Make sure that you spray a liberal amount and you cover as much of the surface as possible so you can have as much of the surface working. Also kind of work to get underneath the spokes, which you kind of got to twist your hand in a weird angle, and then spray behind the spokes into the wheel barrel and allow that to dwell. Now some of the other deionizer sprays or decon gels, decon sprays, will actually turn the brake calipers green or the wheel weights green, and it's a reaction from the nickel plating on those. So I wanted to test that. I made sure to liberally apply the gel to that surface. Now once the deionizer is applied, and here I'm going back and getting in the barrels of the wheels, once it's applied, you're going to want to let it dwell. You can let it dwell for between 3 and 5 minutes. And it'll start to turn purple and allow the surface to run off. What makes Deionizer unique is you can let it dry on the surface and it'll still rinse clean. Even still, you do not want to apply it to wheels that are hot to the touch. If you've been driving, your brake dust or your brake system can put a lot of heat into your wheels, or even radiant heat from the engine will kind of flow into the wheels. So make sure your wheels are cool to the touch. You can see it's instantly reacting to the brake dust. You see it starting to turn purple, and that's the iron fallout in the brake dust. Approximately 4 minutes after being sprayed onto the surface, the Wolf's Chemicals Deionizer Decon Gel has done an excellent job at breaking down the iron content of the brake dust and turning it purple. You can see it's kind of running out of every crack and crevice, and it's actually running onto the pavement. So at this point, the next step is to lightly agitate the surface with wheel brushes. I like mine in water to kind of flush away the dirt as I agitate. That's optional. You can also just scrub and rinse. It's up to you. So I'll start with the Montana Boar's Hair wheel brush. This is the long-handled version. The Boar's Hair, you want to let it soak in water for about 5 minutes, and that'll soften the bristles. This actually features feathered edges, so it's not going to scratch any polished aluminum or delicate wheel surfaces. And the reason I like to keep the surface wet is because you actually can flush the brake dust off the wheel, the organic material from the actual pad, as you lightly agitate. And I'm not scrubbing here. I'm just lightly going over it, and you can kind of see that it loosens any of the remaining soiling. I like to work from the top down, and that way you're constantly flushing the wheel from the top down. And some of the areas, like on the wheel lip, they can have a little bit of, it can kind of be caked on a little bit, so you might have to work it just a little bit longer. So pick up a little bit more water and just keep lightly going over the face of the wheel. Also make sure to get the bristles into the lug recesses and kind of work them around, and that'll help make sure those are clean as well. At this point, I've just finished using the Montana Boar's Hair wheel brush to lightly agitate the surface, and now I'm going to use the Daytona Speedmaster wheel brush to clean inside the barrel of the wheels. Now I'm using a left and right motion instead of a in and out motion, and that's just to avoid splatter when you pull that brush out and getting soaked in brake dust splatter. You can see how much cleaner the inside of that surface is versus the other side where I haven't cleaned, and it's kind of caked in, it looks black. It's been a very long time since the inside of these wheels have been cleaned. They're borderline neglected. So it just shows the power of the Wolf's Chemicals Deionizer Decon Gel. I'm going to put a little more water, and I'm going to start working left and right and agitating the surface. Sometimes when you clean heavily soiled wheels, you may need a second treatment in the barrel just so the chemical can actually react with the iron fallout. Some of it's actually buried underneath the coating. The final step is to rinse the wheel with a steady jet of water. I'm using an industrial strength, our Fireman water nozzle, and I'm not using a ton of water pressure. I'm just using enough to rinse off any residual product and flush the surface. So I'm going to start kind of getting the barrels of the wheel and the face, and then I'll come back and I'll rinse out the lug nut recesses and just flush out any residue. Now the wheel looked clean before, and that's again because I flush the wheel surface as I agitate and continuously flush away brake dust so I don't find some in a hidden area. After rinsing the wheel, the last step is to go back and dry it to prevent water spots. I'll use the all-purpose microfiber towel, which is the black one. And that'll also clean up any light organic residue that's left from the agitation or I may have missed. So the wheel has been completely dried and wiped down, and you can clearly see how good the results are. There's a little bit of fallout that still remains in the wheel barrels, and again, the inside of these wheels hasn't been cleaned in years. So a second application would loosen that and result in a perfectly clean wheel without the use of a harsh acid. The brake caliper and wheel weight have not discolored or changed green, which speaks for this solution's effectiveness. But ultimately, I went from a heavily soiled wheel to a completely clean wheel. I'm kind of rubbing my fingers over it because I'm feeling for any grittiness or embedded contaminants, which the Deionizer Gel completely removed. So Wolf's Chemicals Deionizer Gel offers a fast and easy solution to clean heavily baked on brake dust without using harsh acids, which is super important to maintain the clear coat finish on a factory wheel. It's also safe for all wheel finishes, no matter how delicate, anodized, polished aluminum, etc. Wolf's Chemicals Deionizer Decon Gel is just one of many scientifically engineered, advanced car care products from Wolf's Chemicals. To learn more, visit us at autopiacarcare.com or join our online community at autopiaforums.com.